Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Leadoff Spot. I'm Doug Williams. Today we're previewing the series between the Blue Jays and Yankees, and I'm joined by Sportsnet Blue Jays reporter Barry Davis once again. Barry, thanks for coming on with us.
All right, Doug, my pleasure.
Both of these teams, Barry, mathematically are not eliminated yet from the postseason. But have you noticed that this is a Blue Jays team that has or hasn't given up? Do they still look like they're playing with some fire?
Yeah, I think they're playing with fire and they're saying the right things. This team is just a victim of what it's been all year, and it's wildly inconsistent. The Blue Jays are really very, very good or very, very bad. And they went through a stretch at the beginning of September where it looked as though, okay, they're 9-2, they're closing the gap. And what they had said all along was, all we can take care of is our business. We know that there are a lot of teams in front of us. Crazy thing is, the other teams have done a favor to the Blue Jays because the Royals are losing, the Tigers are losing, the Yankees are losing. The Mariners, other than a win here and there, haven't been all that great either. If you look at the Blue Jays' record over the last 10, 15 games, they've been one of the better teams in the American League. However, they're not winning any games. So they're not doing their part. It's not like it's being made more difficult from the other teams around, and this is all the Blue Jays doing right now.
When you look at the Blue Jays, is it just that inconsistency? Like, what will people say the main reason for, their struggles are? What is their one Achilles heel, if there is one?
That's a hard question to answer, Doug, because on any given night, it could be one of many things. Now, keep in mind, the Blue Jays had a tremendous stretch from their starting pitchers. Going into Wednesday night's game, they had 22 consecutive starts where their starter has gone at least 6 innings. That's set a franchise record. That's pretty phenomenal, especially when you have young guys like Marcus Stroman and Drew Hutchison. So to get that kind of consistency from your rotation over that span, you have to say the rotation's better than you'd expected. The offense is the one thing that's been very puzzling because with Bautista, Encarnacion, and for the longest time Melky Cabrera, you had a pretty formidable lineup, and Jose Reyes leading things off. The problem is the offense has been all home run or nothing. They haven't been able to hit with runners in scoring position, and it's just been a lot of the little things. And I think watching this 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles, you really got a chance to see the fine lines and the real differences between a team that's won the division and a team that wants to win the division. If you go player by player up and down the roster, the Blue Jays match up quite well against them, but there are just so many little intangibles that the Orioles do that the Blue Jays don't do, and I think that's been their biggest undoing right now.
All right, 2 quick questions before I let you go, Barry. Here are 2 people, and I want to know if they'll be back with the Blue Jays next season. John Gibbons, the manager, and Melky Cabrera.
Maybe and maybe. Is that a good way of answering it? I think, John Gibbons hasn't really done anything to deserve getting the finger pointed at him. But you know the way it is in baseball, Doug. When a team does great, people talk about what a wonderful job the players have done, and we don't hear as much about, Buck Showalter, what a terrific job. But when a team is losing, the fingers get pointed strictly at the manager. And I think the bigger question is, will GM Alex Anthopoulos be back next year? And team president Paul Beeston, will he be back next year? I think there are a lot of jobs on the line from those 2 to John Gibbons to the entire coaching staff, simply because this team was built to be a playoff team, and this is 2 years in a row where, well, we don't know 100% sure, but 2 years in a row where they have not exceeded expectations or even lived up to them. So I think they're definitely all on the line. As for Melky Cabrera, we've known for a long time the Blue Jays are going to qualify him, and that's that has more to do with the fact that if they do lose him, they want to get a draft pick for him. But Melky Cabrera, as much as he says he loves Toronto and he loves his teammates and he feels indebted to the organization because they gave him a chance when nobody else would, he would be foolish to not reject the qualifying offer and see what he can get on the open market. Does that mean he won't come back to the Blue Jays? Well, that's up to ownership and whether or not they're willing to pay market value for him. Melky has been more than anybody ever expected, and they'd love to have him back. And again, I know he likes the city and likes the team, but it's one of those questions that we may not know the answer to for quite a while.
All right, Barry, well, that's going to do it for the Leadoff Spot. Good stuff as always. We appreciate you coming on with us once again, and maybe we'll talk to you next year.
Always a pleasure to be in New York City and have a chance to watch one of the last games of Derek Jeter's career, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, thank you very much. Well, you can catch all of the coverage for this series on Yes. On Thursday and Friday, coverage on Yes will begin at 6 p.m. with the Yankees Batting Practice Today show, taking you all the way through the postgame show after the game. Saturday and Sunday are both matinees. Saturday's game is at 4 p.m. with the Yankees pregame show on Yes starting at 3:30. And Sunday is Tanaka Day with coverage on Yes starting at noon. I'm Doug Williams. See you next time, everybody.